don't think it's an exaggeration to say that right now there is more excitement in the world of search results than there ever has been, or at least than there has been in the last many, many years. And that is because Google has their AI chatbot just now beginning to roll out, Google Bard, which does a pretty good job of answering very complex questions and giving you real, actual answers. Bing, Microsoft also has their own Bing chat service, which also does the same thing, but it also gives you sources and it has image generation and all kinds of really impressive things like that. But while that is all being covered quite extensively, and I've covered it quite a bit on this channel myself, there is another aspect to this that we need to touch on. I saw an article tweeted on March the 19th, so it's been about 6 days ago now, which stated a super-powered Bing chat could make the Surface Duo 3 worth buying. And this was something, an idea, a concept that I touched on a little bit in a prior video, but in today's video, we're going to dig a little bit deeper. We're going to talk about what I think about this idea. Would basically taking this Bing chat and baking it into the operating system of a Surface Duo 3, would that indeed be a game changer? Would that make the Duo 3 worth buying for the broader public? We're going to be looking directly at this article in this video, so I'm going to drop a link to this article in the description. Go give it a click, give this website, Android Authority, a visit to kind of repay them for what we're doing here in this video. That would be greatly appreciated. This is by Hadley Simmons. And yeah, let's kind of dig into what they're thinking here. And I'm going to kind of play off of that, I guess. And we're just going to scroll down to the bit that is about how Bing Chat can make a difference on Surface Duo 3. And they start off in a really good place. How about hardware controls? Bing Chat is unable to do things like toggle system settings and text/call someone. And I believe that some of the stuff gets kind of expanded on later. But yes, this absolutely would have to be a feature for this thing to effectively replace Google Assistant, which is what it's going to have to do to be a truly game-changing experience, to be something that's going to actually make people look at this device and think, I want to buy that instead. So yeah, definitely in agreement there. We need hardware controls. You need to be able to tell it to toggle your Wi-Fi, and let's go further than that. You need to be able to tell it to turn off the lights in your house if you're using smart outlets, or to adjust your thermostat. All of these things are going to have to be rolled into it. What we're talking about is basically rebuilding Cortana inside Bing Chat, which is something that, you know, it may be a big risk and it may not lead anywhere. But I think that, you know, the idea of having Bing Chat on its own, simply there to do Bing Chat things, might not be going too far enough. And I think that they have to be considering doing some of these Cortana-esque things with Bing Chat as well. Another good idea here is rolling it into your Swift key keyboard, allowing us to call upon it in any app. This is another great idea because right now we already have inside the Microsoft Edge browser, if I bring this down a little bit, a little sidebar here that you can click on, and it will give you access to Bing Chat to do all sorts of fun things in there. The idea of effectively having that on your phone does make a ton of sense to me. The ability to, you know, be on a website and just pull up Bing and have it use the screen that it's looking at, have it literally be able to access the screen that it is in front of as context like that sidebar can, would be tremendous, because right now on mobile, all it's really able to do is answer questions, whereas on your computer, it can take the context of a website and give you breakdowns of that, and it can basically use that page as context. On your phone, what if it could use this screen, whatever is on that screen, as the context to work off of? That would be extremely cool. Now, after mentioning smart home controls, which I just touched upon a moment ago, they do also mention offline functionality. Much like Google Assistant, this could be limited to a few preset commands, so you can still make some local queries in areas of poor network coverage. This is another great point. Bing Chat does nothing for you if you lose your data. And there are also queries that may be things that you want to have answered very quickly. Things like hardware control, obviously, would need to happen quick. You don't want that stuff having to go across the internet to be translated and to be kind of processed in the cloud to then have to come back to the device just to turn off your Wi-Fi or send a text message, whatever. These things would need to be done on the device itself. And we kind of are, again, talking about building Cortana again and sort of nesting it within the Bing chat service. Adley goes on to describe adding this stuff to all of their apps, all of their Office apps and things like that. And again, this does also make a ton of sense. And I think these things are things that they are going to do. So you may at this point be thinking, oh, this sounds like just a great idea that I am in complete agreement with. But here is why I actually don't think that it's going to matter at all. The reason for that is because who makes Android, the operating system that the Surface Duo and Duo 2 and Duo 3 are going to run? Well, that would be Google. And what is Google currently hard at work on? Well, that would be their answer to Bing Chat, Google Bard that I already mentioned. And yes, right now, Bing Chat does have a lead. However, you're talking about taking a third-party app and integrating it into a phone versus taking a first-party project and integrating it into the operating system. In every place it makes sense to integrate Bing into your Duo 3 experience, it will also make sense to integrate Bard. And the likelihood that Bard will be integrated more deeply and, let's be honest, in a way that's probably going to just work better, quite high. We talked about putting Bing Chat into the keyboard so that it could use whatever is on your screen as context. Well, Google Assistant can already use screen context. We talked about integrating into applications. Well, they're already integrating Bard into Google Messages, and they're going to integrate it in many other places. We talked about home control. Google Assistant has home control. We talked about hardware control. Google Assistant already has hardware control. Do you see where I'm going with this? Even if we allow for the very real possibility that Microsoft does all of these things, they integrate Bing Chat really deeply in Surface Duo 3, and it works great. Will it differentiate itself from what Android is already doing on their phones? I don't think that it will. You're going to have a slightly different flavor of the same thing. And is that going to be the selling feature that makes Duo 3 worth buying for people when the Z Fold 5 has similar Bard features, or maybe it's the Z Fold 6, who knows when all this stuff's going to happen? I'm just highly skeptical of this. I'm not skeptical of the idea that Microsoft could do this and that they could make it good. I'm skeptical of the idea that it could be Duo 3's killer app, because a killer app is an app that other phones don't have a similar version of that is in many ways going to be just as good, if not better. That's not a killer app. I know I'm being a bit of a Debbie Downer in this. I do definitely want to see Bing Chat integrated into Duo. Do it now with Duo 2. We're still waiting on that March update, which is probably going to roll out right now because I'm just, I've mentioned its name, and that's typically how this works. But do it now. Do it. Roll it out. Put some of it in the March update. I mean, start doing it immediately. I do want this stuff to happen. Like I said, I just am also fully aware that Google is going to be doing the exact same thing with Bard, and it's going to be baked into the operating system, which is going to make this a very, very interesting time ahead for the world of AI integration into our smartphones. Guys, thanks for watching. If you're new to this channel, hit that subscribe button before you go. I'll see you on the next one. And until next time, stay nerdy, my friends.